Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I am so excited to have you here today. I am absolutely loving this whole segment of working with other really like homestead centered type of companies, many of them local to the Midwest, local to me even, all bringing you ideas and ways to either purchase items that are better for you and support a local business, or be able to potentially grow and produce things yourself in order to be more sustainable, save some money, and just take some pride into the food and the quality of food that you're consuming with your families. Just absolutely outstanding information coming from these people. And I'm really, really excited to bring you today's podcast guest, which is going to be Holton Homestead, which is just a couple towns over from me. It's Tyler and Sara, and they actually produce a lot of honey. They have honeybee hives, and they have all kinds of different types of honey that they produce and then sell. And I'm so thrilled that I not only am going to learn so much from them along with you, but I'm actually going to be purchasing their honey from now on for myself and my family because we go through a lot of honey. It's delicious. It's a natural carbohydrate with natural sugars and a ton of antioxidant properties. I absolutely love honey. It is one of my favorite treats. So I'm excited to learn so much more and can't wait to have these two join us here in just a minute. All right, guys. So here is Sara from Holton Homestead. I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and start introducing yourself. Who are you? Why do you guys do what you do? What do you do? All the good things.
Okay, I'm Sarah, and I guess I am half of the founding members of the Holton Homestead. Tyler and I accidentally started our business back in 2015. So, someday I could probably write a whole book on just how we even began our business because it was a pure accident. But I'll give you guys the brief version. We lived in Ankeny in town, and we were both really into fitness, and we were doing CrossFit every day, and then we were, doing the paleo diet and all of that kind of stuff. And one day after CrossFit, our gym was right next to a Tractor Supply.
Mhm.
And so we're walking out of the gym, and Tractor Supply has this big sign that says Chick Days. And I was like, Tyler, we need to go get some chicks. And chickens were not allowed in Ankeny at the time, but we went ahead and got our six chicks anyways. And we raised them in our garage, and then we got a little chicken coop for them for the backyard. We had a really big backyard, so I really didn't see a huge problem with it. And it was fenced in, no backdoor neighbors, and none of that. But what I did not account for is we had a neighbor who was just absolutely awful. She made it her job to basically run us out of town. And when she found out that we had chickens, I mean, gosh, she just was obsessed. And she would call the cops on us all the time, anyways, just for like parking in the street too long or whatever. Like we knew all of the Ankeny cops on a first name basis because they were at our house all the time. Anyway, so she basically ran us out of town because of our six outlaw chickens. And as luck would have it, our or my best friend, her grandpa was selling his little acreage in Elkhart. So we went and checked it out, and we just immediately fell in love with it. It's only 2 acres, but has a big, beautiful red barn, and it had a full-grown established apple tree. And I mean, everything was just like we came out here and it just felt like we needed to be here. So we bought the farm and we brought our six outlaw chickens out here. And, our six chickens, you guys have heard of chicken math, right? Six chickens turned into, I don't know, probably 26 chickens. And then somewhere down the road, like 100. And then turkeys, ducks, geese, quail, all of it. So that's kind of how this started. From there, when I say accidentally founded this business, I truly mean that. I loved the chickens, but then we had so many eggs, I didn't know what to do with them. So, we were both working full-time jobs. We worked at a car dealership here in Ankeny. That's how we met. Um, so I had so many eggs I didn't know what to do with, and I would do an egg route once a week where I delivered to about 40 families around Ankeny. And then I had wanted to play in the garden. So I made a garden and we were selling vegetables. And then I was thinking, like, man, we should just do the Ankeny Farmers Market. But keep in mind, we had never even visited a farmer's market as customers. So we had literally no idea what we were doing. And then I was thinking, oh, we have the acreage now. So, I want to keep some bees because my grandpa and my dad kept bees before I was even a thought back in the 80s. And my dad actually sold honey out of the back of his truck at the Ankeny Farmers Market. My grandpa and him ran about 100 beehives, so that was pretty cool. And I actually lost my grandpa when I was 7 in a plane crash, so I didn't get to know him very well. But I thought that was kind of like a way to honor him, to learn about bees and have a couple, cute backyard hives of my own. So that's what I wanted to do. I took a class in the spring of 2016, and then I ended up breaking my foot right around the time that you would install the packages into the hives. So I learned, that high heels and the farm don't mix. So that's how I broke my foot. um, so when it was time to install the packages and do all of that, I wanted to be involved, but I really couldn't. So Tyler was giving me piggyback rides out to the beehives and stuff, and he had to do all the work. I had to like coach him through what to do since I was the one who took the class mostly. Anyways, so at that point, he fell in love with the bees. He was so fascinated by these bugs in a box, and he took my 2 backyard hive dream and turned it into our full-time jobs and our whole lifestyle now. So currently we have about 850-ish beehives and hope to have a lot more. Uh, and yeah, that's how this all started.
That's so crazy. I love the genuine, like, randomness of it. Like, not totally random, being that your grandpa had a hand in it, so you had some familiarity with it, but like, so amazing. I was reading on your website a little bit about how you got into it and how was it Tyler that went out to California to work with the nut farmers and stuff, which is super ironic because one of the coaches that coaches with me has an almond farm in California. And they talk about how the bees help with pollination and everything. So it's just kind of full circle. But I love,
Yeah,
you just kind of fell into it and thank God for the Karens of Ankeny. They got you out of there. So
right? Oh my
perfect.
gosh.
I don't think I could live in town anyway.
Yeah, everything happens for right.
It's
Everything
true.
happens for a reason. So
It definitely does. That's so cool though. I know that you guys had said your most of your products are eggs and then honey related, right?
actually, if I'm being totally honest, please don't associate with me with eggs. I never have any, so
That's
I
fair.
don't tell people that I have eggs anymore. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, we'll just go with honey related things because you have like when I was
There
scrolling
you
through
go.
your products, there are so many honey products. I didn't even realize you could do all of that. I'm actually really looking forward to grabbing. You have honey sticks, right? That you can like bite into and like almost just drink the stick. I'm looking forward to grabbing some of those for my kids
Yeah.
for like between games on weekends kind of thing. It's perfect for that. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, don't mind my randomness. I'm super like fascinated. Okay,
No,
so
I love it.
so okay, we went over kind of how it all got started. So okay, I think a big question that a lot of people don't understand, right, is they understand that like raw honey is important. Um, and that is something that they see on a store shelf. But what is the difference between like your raw honey product and like the raw honey product they can buy at the store?
So I don't like to say the term store-bought honey
Okay.
because like you can find our honey on a Hy-Vee shelf,
Oh, okay.
So there is there is still like good, I don't how do I want to say this? There's still high quality local product in a lot of grocery stores around you.
Okay.
I think, and I love educating on this.
Yeah.
So
Go away.
what you need to look for as a what you need to look for as a consumer is, so I would say you want a raw honey product, a raw honey, and you don't want like a big commercial packer's honey. So a packer, a honey packer, is somebody who might not even be a beekeeper, but they will buy honey from a lot of different beekeepers. And for the sake of being cost effective, it might not be American honey. They might be importing from India, Brazil, like some of these other places that maybe doesn't monitor their honey quite like we do here. So basically, what I'm getting, here's some red flags for you because marketing is something that a lot of times can deceive the consumers. So if you're going through the grocery store shelf and you see a honey that says organic, that's a red flag. If you see a lot of times there's, well, let me tell you why that's a red flag because you're probably thinking like, wait, why is organic honey a red flag? It's a red flag because here in the US, we don't, the USDA does not recognize honey as being organic. So if you see that it has a USDA organic thing on it, I'm sorry, my dog is squeaking at me.
You're totally
Go lay
fine.
down. So if you see a label on there that says USDA organic, that is basically only because the country that it is imported from says it's organic, and we just honor what they are saying, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
when I see USDA organic, immediately I know that that is not US honey. It's imported.
Oh, that's
So to
no.
confirm that, and then
Yeah.
so you can also see on there, like when it says USDA organic, it'll also say US grade A honey. So that's another thing where you're like, oh, okay, US grade A honey. So you're gonna think, oh, it's US honey. But I can almost guarantee you, if you turn it to the back in tiny little print, probably like printed on the bottle, it'll say product of Brazil or product of India or wherever, wherever it's from. So those are the two red flags for honey
Okay.
is imported and USDA organic. Um, so yeah, when you're shopping at the grocery store, just read the fine print. On our labels, we try to make it extremely clear that it's raw, it's unfiltered, um, and we have our location on there because those are the things you want, local to you, raw and unfiltered.
That's outstanding. I learned so much in the last 5 minutes. It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I would never known that, and I love that you just taught us that. So now people can applicably, they can actually go and apply that while they're shopping, which is amazing. We'll talk about how people can find you at the end, but do you ship your honey to whomever in the US if they order it? Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, we have a pretty big online store, so we can ship
that's
that wherever.
awesome.
Um, if you are interested, I would talk about why unfiltered
Yeah,
versus, the filtered honey.
yeah, absolutely.
So a
Teach.
lot of these packers as well, you're like, keep going, let me take more. Uh, so they will filter the honey so much so that it takes out all of the, very fine particles, enzymes, things like that make honey. It'll even filter out the pollen. So all of the things that make honey will get filtered out of that. And I would say the number one reason that they do that is because we all know honey crystallizes.
Mhm.
And these big packers, I mean, They're not gonna come service the grocery store shelf. They never want to see that bottle of honey again. So by removing all of that, it ensures that the honey never crystallizes. Um, so I know a lot of people are extremely inconvenienced by crystallized honey, but if your honey's crystallizing, that's how you know it's the good stuff, right? So it is a pain in the butt. We have to go service our grocery store shelves. We have to pull off the jars that are starting to crystallize, and we have to deal with them ourselves. So it is an extra step. It is a pain in the butt, but that's how you know you have real honey.
Awesome. That's good to know. Okay, so say somebody's at home and their honey is crystallized. Is it just done for, or is there something you can use it with?
No, it's definitely not done for. It kind of depends on what you're doing with it, right? Like if you're just melting it into your coffee or your tea, you can just use it as the granulated sugar and it'll melt in that hot beverage. But if you need it in liquid form, I would suggest a double boiler. So a glass jar would be the most convenient, right? Because then you can just set it into the pot of water that you're warming. You really don't want your honey to get over like 100, 110 degrees because that's when it starts to deteriorate those good enzymes. Absolutely, please never, ever, ever microwave it. Um, that's how you kill everything good in it. So,
Good to know there too. Definitely
yeah.
good to know there. One of my favorite snacks is literally like almond butter, and just drizzle honey on top of it, and it is like the best thing in the whole world. So that is excellent to know because we've definitely had it crystallized before, and I'm like, what do we do with this? So I'm glad that we know that now. Um, okay, do you have any more like things you want to include about any of that?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. That's so helpful because you can look up a million things and you just don't really know. So getting it straight from the source is super helpful. Um, I think just for fun, like what are the basics of beekeeping? Like I've always been like amazed by it, but scared of it too because it's bees. So tell us about that.
Well, Nikki, I teach a class on the basics of beekeeping and it's six
Oh,
weeks long.
okay.
So there's a lot of information to
Sure.
throw at you.
The really
Um,
simplified version, I guess.
oh man, I don't know. How about just some fun facts?
Sure, I'm good with fun facts. That sounds good.
Okay, so there's only one queen
Okay.
per beehive or colony, same thing, beehive colony. Um, all of the worker bees are females.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty badass.
Yeah, it is. Watch out, ladies.
Right? Uh, the male bee is called a drone. They are basically worthless except for mating. And then once they mate, they die.
Okay.
Yep. In the fall, when the weather starts to change and it starts getting colder and there's less food resources out there, any drones that are still alive, the worker bees will actually kick them out of the hive and prevent them from coming back in because they don't want their resources stolen and they know that the drones have no purpose at that time of year. So basically, they kick them out. Uh, the queen only has one job, and that is to lay eggs. She does not feed herself. She does not clean herself. She does not do anything except lay eggs. And she can
Wow.
lay thousands of eggs a day.
Okay.
Um, so when a queen is hatched, we call a virgin queen. And so then she'll go on her mating flight and she'll mate with several different drones. And then she has enough sperm stored in her for the rest of her life. She never has to mate again.
Interesting. One good weekend and it's over.
Yeah. She has to leave the hive again.
Okay.
Swarming sounds scary, but it's really just like the term for, I mean, it's like natural reproduction of the hive. So the queen that's in there will set the hive up for success by laying eggs that will be turned into future queens. And then she takes half of the worker bees and then they go find a new home, but they have set up that original hive for success. So that's how they reproduce.
That's so cool. I had no idea. Okay, so like a queen, is she like obviously she's not she's just born a queen, right? Is there something special about her that makes her queen?
Yeah, well, she looks a lot different, so she's a lot bigger
Okay.
than the other bees. Yeah, so during the development, it is like the worker bees decide what kind of bee it's going to be based on their diet.
Okay.
So like they'll feed, it's crazy. Yeah, so like they'll make a queen.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I don't
It's
know if
so
I'm
cool.
explaining that right, but
Yeah. No, it's like amazing. I'm like a little kid at school right now learning. I had no idea that that's how that worked. Um that's insane actually. Um thousands of eggs per day. So that's super cool. Okay. I love all those fun facts. Okay, so how often do you actually get stung like taking care of them?
I mean, me personally, I don't get stung a lot. So Tyler and I have structured our business where I do most of the honey, retail sales, farmers market, marketing, like all of that stuff, and he primarily takes care of the bees.
Okay.
So he's in it a lot more than I am.
Okay.
Uh, but I mean, he'll get stung all the time. Like it doesn't even faze him anymore. He doesn't even swell. Uh, it's just like something he's so used to. So he gets stung all the time. When I go out, I if I help him, I might get stung once. I might not. It just kind of depends. Usually they're pretty nice, but I have been stung in the face before, and I used to have really bad reactions to it. So when I got stung in the eye before, I looked like a victim of domestic abuse for about 3 days. So every time I work the bees, I make sure to wear a veil. Tyler doesn't. He hardly even wears protection anymore. But
Yeah, I feel like I'd be out there in the whole suit. But man, that's gotta get hot in summer too. So there's that.
right, no one wants to be like completely covered when it's the summertime. It's so hot. So you kind of like risk it. Do I want to sweat? Do I want the risk of getting stung?
Oh man. So like, do you take honey out every day in summer or do you let it build for a while?
No, so as Iowa beekeepers, it's very standard to just extract once a year.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting. So then you have enough honey for the whole year when you extract to like run your whole business.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We get like drums of honey. So like the big barrels, each barrel is like 650 pounds,
Wow. And you have 850 hives, you said.
give or take. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's super cool. And then obviously you make all of your different products out of that and you have different variations of sizes and stuff. And so I saw the other day you're making creamed honey. I've never even heard of that. What does that mean?
Yeah, creamed honey is it's the texture thing, right? So it's still pure honey, but it's just like thick and smooth and spreadable. I don't know. There's something about it. And it's crazy because it's like the same honey in liquid form that you use to make the creamed honey. And I swear it even tastes different. It's just like, so
Wait,
smooth.
are there extra ingredients in it to make it creamed honey or you just like produce it different?
No, it's actually really fascinating. So creamed honey is essentially crystallized honey.
Okay.
But those crystals are ground super fine to make it smooth and spreadable. And honey's really cool because so we call it seed honey. So you can take runny honey and then add 10% of this super fine crystallized honey, the seed honey. And over time, usually about 2 weeks or so, it will mimic those crystals. So it will essentially, it's like forcing it to crystallize, but in those super fine crystals and not like the big coarse crystals that you're used to. Yeah.
So interesting. That's so cool. Um, okay. So like on that note, obviously like looking through your site, there's a lot of amazing honey options to purchase. So like did you come up with all the different ideas of like things to market and create or like is that ideas that you got from somewhere else? How did that work?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not gonna take credit for creamed honey. That's been around for a long, long time.
Sure.
And like the flavoring of it, there's a lot of flavors that I would call standard flavors, like cinnamon and stuff like that. But I have come up with a lot of the unique flavors on my own, I guess.
Okay.
Like I've been working on salted caramel creamed honey for about 3 years because I'm also a snob and I want to make sure I have high quality ingredients
Yes.
in there as well. So that one took me a long time to create and I'm finally happy with it. I also have a salted garlic creamed honey. Everyone thinks it sounds so weird, but then when I make them try it, they're like, oh, yeah.
I'm going to try like a variety pack.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So,
love
yeah, a lot of the flavors I have come up with, but definitely did not come up with, the idea of creamed honey.
it.
Infused honey was something we played around with. There's just like so many flavors you could infuse it with. It's kind of like when we first started, we just casted out this really wide net of all the flavors, and then we kind of reeled it in to see like what was actually popular, what did people like, that kind of stuff.
That's so
Uh,
cool.
we also sell a ton of our elderberry tonic, and that's like super popular in the winter because it's really good for your immune system. And it's made with our honey. So yeah, things like that. I feel like I try to stay in our lane. Like everything has to be either made with our honey or beeswax or be extremely related to bees or honey.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that makes sense. You know, it fits your business profile. Um, I just think it's super cool because like me, you know, coaching and coming up with different coaching programs, it's similar how it kind of like branches and you find a need or so it's like solving a problem for people and it's fantastic. Like when I saw that you had the honey sticks, for example, I do a lot of coaching for like youth athletes and it's a perfect option for the kids between basketball games because my kids will play 3 or 4 basketball games in one day.
Yeah,
Hello, instant carbs. Like suck
exactly.
down, easy. And it's good quality. So I don't feel like it's like nature's candy, essentially.
Yes, yes.
So that's perfect. I love that. Okay. What is your personal favorite product that you guys sell? Do you have one?
Ooh. Um, yeah, probably it's so silly, but probably our cinnamon honey butter.
Okay.
Like I I shouldn't admit to being able to like just eat plain butter, but I could totally just sit there and eat that cinnamon butter.
Yeah, I probably would too. It's delicious. Um, I didn't know you guys had. I'm literally gonna. Do you guys have a storefront in Elkhart, or do you just order online?
Yeah, we have a tiny little storefront. It's just like a one of those prefab sheds we put on our property. So we have store hours March through Christmas.
Okay, and then we can just order outside of that whenever, kind of thing.
Yep.
Super cool. Well, I can't wait. So on that note, like people that are listening, I have people from coast to coast and they love shopping where I trust and shop too. So where can people follow you? Where can they find you in order to order from you and all that good stuff?
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. So both platforms is the Holton Homestead, Holton.
Okay.
And let's see, our website, holtonhomestead.com. So we'll ship all over the US. If you're local, we do some delivery options, or you can pick up from our farm in Elkhart.
Okay.
And then we also have a map on our website of like all the retail stores that we're in. So there might be one close to you.
That's perfect. That's awesome. And I'm really excited because anybody that's listening, we're going to do a collaboration post. It's coming out tomorrow, from when this airs. And you're doing a jar of wild honey, or wildflower honey. Is that what you said?
Wildflower honey, yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna do a wildflower honey giveaway. It's gonna be a really fun participation post, so you guys are gonna guess something. It'll be great. And then that winner will be chosen Friday, and we'll get the things sent to you guys. I'm gonna do a coaching giveaway, and it's just gonna be fun. So be prepared for that. Be on the lookout for that. Um, and yeah, I mean, do you have anything else that you want to add to like close it out? Any last tips or anything you can think of?
Oh gosh. Nothing nothing really comes to mind, but I'm always happy to answer any questions. If you guys want to reach out on the socials or if you have a question you want answered, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, and then that course that you offer, in case there is anybody interested, is that virtual or is it only in person?
I do have a virtual option, yeah. So if you're interested in keeping bees or you just want to learn a little more about beginning beekeeping, I do have online classes available and I try to keep the cost really low. So it's only $25 to take that class. So,
That's amazing. And they can find that on your website too.
yep,
Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. And like, I'm like a giddy little schoolgirl over here, so I appreciate it.
of course. This has
Awesome.
been
Okay,
awesome.
well, we'll be in touch soon. And yeah, we'll talk later.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.